If you want instant access to new videos as they're uploaded, then please click on the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to comment on the videos, and if you're interested in learning more about BetAngel, visit betangel.com today and download a free trial. So if you're looking at an individual match, if we go to Bouchard and Sybil Clover, I can click on that, and that'll basically transport me there instantly. If you want to modify the way or the behavior when you click, you can do that on the options up here. You can see there are lots of different things that you can modify up here, tons and tons. You can actually even just shrink it down as well if you want to look at more things in one go, or you want to do more. Up to you. Anyway, I digress. So we're looking at this individual match here, and we're looking at Tennis Trader. Now it's important to understand how you would set up Tennis Trader to look at a match. So first of all, the women's matches are played over 3 sets, the men's over 5. So on Tennis Trader we'd have to select a 3-set match. Now in the US Open, unlike Wimbledon and the French Open, in the last set you play a tiebreak at the US Open. So we want a 3-set match where a tiebreak is allowed in the final set, which is what we click on there. And then when you want to start interrogating Tennis Trader, you would press the Calibrate button. And what this does is it will actually look at the individual match itself, compare the two players, compare the odds, and then it will basically come up with a forecast. And what it's doing is it's using the differential between the players and a database and model of all of these types of matches to work out basically what the underlying statistics must mean between these two competitors. And then what it allows you to do is to project that forward during the match so that you can actually work out what sort of position you could or couldn't have. So if we back Bouchard at the beginning of this match, what's she going to be after one set, one game, 1 point if you so wish. And if we look down here, you'll see there are lots of different options on here. So if we say Bouchard wins game, and we do Cibulkova wins game, and I'm also going to do custom score, then what this will allow us to do, if you want to, you can shrink this so it's just focusing on the ones that you want. It's up to you how you want to do that. This is basically saying to us, Bouchard is serving first, and if she wins the first game, her odds will go from 229 to 216. Or if Cibulkova wins the first game, then you can see her odds will lengthen out. And in fact, Cibulkova's odds will go from 178 down to 146. Or you could actually fiddle around and say, okay, if it's 3-4 and Bouchard is a set-up and she's serving, what are the odds likely to be? So you can see it can define entry and exit points or give you an idea of where the prices are likely to be. Now because of injuries, player temperament, dodgy line calls, the weather, there are so many factors that you can't say with absolute certainty that the price will be here. But if we assume that everything is standard throughout the match and there's no other factors, then based upon the information and where the starting price is, this is what it would expect to be. But there will be variations. There are actually opportunities in spotting when the market deviates massively from that situation. But it's up to you how you wish to use it. All I'm trying to make you aware of is that without taking all of those factors into account, it's impossible to get an absolutely spot-on price. And in fact, even if you do that, and you use a very complicated model, you often find the market has a view. You can see the market is leaning in one direction or the other. But all I'm trying to say to you is here are some stats that will point you in the right direction. Just don't expect them to be absolutely nailed on, but they will give you a good estimate. If you want to fiddle around with it in more detail, there is actually the option underneath the spanner to put your own settings in there rather than let Tennis Trader calibrate it itself. It's up to you if you want to use it. It's a much more advanced way of using it. But I thought I'd highlight that to you. Most people would just use it in this particular context. But they will also use it to come up with some sort of a game plan. So if we look at the game matrix, what this is telling you is what's going to happen. So we're saying that Bouchard will serve first, and this is what could happen within the game. So if the game is level, you can see that Bouchard price will be 229, 230, 33, 30, and so on and so forth. So you can see if it gets to deuce, then you can basically see that the price would have drifted slightly from where the original starting price. And this is because obviously Cibulkova could actually break if she gets a couple of lucky points there. And you can see at this particular moment, if it goes to advantage Cibulkova, you can see that her price would go out to 258, and then if Civil-Cova wins, you can see it goes out to 319. So this gives you an idea as to how the match is progressing, or how the game is progressing. And as that progresses, then you'll see any path that is not possible any longer get blanked out, because we are plugged straight in to the live score feed via Betfair. So basically, as the game progresses, any paths that are not available to you will get blanked out, so you'll be able to see exactly what options are available to you and within that particular game. But basically what you're looking at on the game matrix is this is what happens if points are tied. This is what will happen if it's a 1-point gain to Civil-Cova. This is a 2-point gain, this is a 3-point gain, and that is the game. And in the other direction you can see this is a point up to Bouchard, 2 points, 3 points, game. So this will give you a basis on which to participate. And you can sort of say, okay, I'm going to back Bouchard, but if she gets to this particular point, then I'm going to exit. But you can basically see if you back her and then exit, there's a little bit of a gain to be had there, but that gain could be outweighed fairly significantly if she goes to love 30. But if it's at love 30 and then goes 15-30 and then bounces around like that, you obviously get different scenarios, so you may want to base your in and out strategy upon that. But it gives you a really good idea of exactly what could happen within there. And you can see the same on the set matrix as well, but this is the number of games within that particular set. So you can see here, if we backed Bouchard and she's serving within the first game, then you can see if she goes 1 love up, her price will come down to 216. Then it goes back to 1-all, 2-1, 2-all, 2-all. And you can see the way that the match would progress. And again, because we're linked into the live scores, options that are unavailable to you will be blanked out as the match progresses. So again, what you can see here is this is if the match is tied. So it's like service win, service win, service win, service wins. But you can basically see this is 1-all, 2-all, 3-all, 4-all, 5-all. This is a game to Bouchard up, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, 5 set. A game to Civil-Cova, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games set. And you can follow whichever path you want to go on here. So maybe, I love playing around at 4-all within a match, because basically if a break occurs, then you'll get a significant shift in odds at that particular point. So if we get a break of serve initially, you can see the price goes from 229 to 319, but at 4-all you can see the price has gone from 229 to 226. But look how much that price moves, because what it's saying at that point is that Civil-Cova is going to serve for the set. And basically if Bouchard actually wins that game, you can see her odds go from 226 to 206. So you lose 20, but you could gain a lot more if it goes in the other direction. Maybe you decide to back Civil-Cova at this particular point, and you can see her price would crash down from 179 to 133. And if you lose, it would go out a little bit. But you'd be playing with percentages. And if you've watched the match up until this point, you'll get an idea as to whether one is in the ascendancy or struggling at this particular point. And so you may want to jump into the market at that particular point. Because players know this as well. And it's very likely that they will attempt to go for a break if the match is at 4-all, knowing that they can serve for the match. So you can see in just 2 games there, the odds could go from 179 to 126. It could be a fairly significant move. So yeah, this is typically how you would use Tennis Trader. You would use it to have a look at what's going on ahead of you, come up with a game plan, and then that would allow you to understand what your potential downside is, but also what the potential payoff is as well. And if you find that as the match progresses, the odds are starting to drift from the predicted odds, you can always click the Calibrate button, and BetAngel will look at the score, look at the odds, and snap it back and bring the model back to where the market thinks it is. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. But yeah, basically that's how you should be looking at using Tennis Trader.
If you're interested in learning more about BetAngel, visit betangel.com and download a free trial today.